Last time, Superman won the fight and put Batman into hiding. Welcome to the Complete Story series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and break them down in digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Last time on Injustice, Superman beat Batman and sent him into hiding, which in turn sent Benny into hiding, which is why I'm here. But why are we doing this video? I'm gonna go edit We Are Robin.
I'm Batman and I'm back. Olympus, a kingdom that few believe even exists and even fewer have actually seen. Most accept the world that they are a part of, not even considering alternate timelines, magical dimensions, and places that exist outside of known reality. But Olympus is not merely folklore, nor is it myth meant to account for what could not be explained by primitive man. Olympus is real, and so are the gods that inhabit it. And the gods are discussing the situation on Earth, in which these beings referring to themselves as superheroes are taking over the planet. And Ares states that it's time to put mankind back in its place. While down on Earth in the Hall of Justice, Superman is sitting on his self-appointed throne, trying to figure out where Batman is. Ever since their battle that involved the magics of heaven and hell and the death of Huntress, he's been in hiding. And Superman tells Hal Jordan, the Yellow Lantern, that they need to do better at finding Batman. And Hal tells him not to speak to him like that. Just because he's in control of the Justice League does not make him better than the Justice League. They aren't his subjects, so don't talk to them like they are. Superman stands up and informs Hal that he doesn't have time for his delicate ego and to take his hurt feelings and go somewhere else. Hal begins to get his ring ready, and Superman begins to heat his eyes up when Wonder Woman walks in. She reminds Superman that they are his friends, and he shouldn't be trying to turn his friends into insurgents like Batman. Meanwhile, Batman is hiding in Alaska, in a lead-lined base trying to decide if he should accept the offer that he has been given. How far is too far for this war to go? Alfred walks over and gives him his dinner before asking him if he's thought about reaching out to Damian, and Bruce tells him that he has no idea where Damian is. So Alfred reminds him, the Joker is not your fault. Superman is not your fault. Dick Grayson's death is not your fault. None of this is your burden to carry alone. Batman takes the Batjet to a random mountaintop where Ares, the god of war, is standing, and he tells him, I'm in. Meanwhile, Renee Montoya is drinking herself into a stupor. This war between Superman and Batman has cost her Huntress, and she's about to get her revenge. So she decides that she's gonna get Superman's attention by attacking Cyborg and Robin. She drops Cyborg in a single hit, leaving just her and Robin. Damian throws a batarang at her and it breaks off her head, and she asks, are you done? He runs in and tries to punch her, then kick her, then punch her right in the nose. And she doesn't even flinch. She then uppercuts him into the sky. As he bounces into the streets nearby, she walks up and grabs him by the head and yells into the nearby news chopper's cameras, Superman, face me or Robin dies! Superman is sitting with his parents asking if they are afraid of him when he can hear her shouting with his super hearing, and he asks them to turn the TV on. He then rockets off to face her. Meanwhile, Billy Batson is getting pulled out of school by a woman claiming to be his mother, Harley Quinn. She walks him out to her motorcycle, a Harley for Harley as she says, and asks him to turn into his better half. When he refuses, she knocks him out and takes him hostage. Back with Superman and Renee, Superman hits her from behind, forcing her to drop Robin. She gets back on her feet and we can see how she is so strong suddenly. She is popping every single one of the super strength granting pills that she can get her hands on. All at once, her muscles begin bulging as she begins screaming, I'm gonna kill you, Superman! She gets in a few hits, but then he hits her with everything that he has, throwing her through the nearby Washington Monument. So, she tears it out of the ground and hits Superman with it, sending him flying. Then she reels back in pain and hits the ground. Those pills give their users incredible amounts of strength, but they are a terrible strain on the human heart. And Renee just took a handful of them. Superman rockets back onto the scene, slamming her into the ground, demanding that she stop. He can see the strain on her heart. But it's too little, too late, as she falls to the ground, spewing the green liquid all over the place. Nearby, a Wayne helicopter lands and Bruce Wayne gets out, and he runs to catch Renee as she dies from her overdose. Superman looks at Bruce, mourning over the loss of another friend, and he tells him, just go. Wonder Woman is in shock. Clark, we've been searching all over for him for months, and he's right here. No, this isn't Batman. This is Bruce Wayne, and he's here to take his friend home. This war has cost us too much. It's over. Say it, Bruce. With tears in his eyes, Bruce tells him, it's over. He then takes Renee Montoya and he heads back to his hideout, where he dons the cowl and tells his friends, "This isn't over." While Bruce prepares for the next part of his mission, Barbara Gordon calls Lex Luthor their secret man on the inside for Batman's team. She tells him that she needs his help, and he tries an experimental procedure to repair her broken spine, because in this universe, Barbara Gordon is still crippled by the Joker, while Lex is working on his own experiment to save the day, a clone of Superman. Meanwhile, Billy Batson wakes up to Harley Quinn standing in front of him while he's tied to a chair. She welcomes him to her secret hideout, the Quiver. Yes, she knows that this looks like Green Arrow's old hideout, but he's not around anymore. But that's when she gets a call to return to Batman's hideout, and it's time to move. So she gasses Billy and leaves him tied to that chair. Batman prepares his team for the big move that is coming, and Barbara surprises everyone by walking in as Batgirl. When Batman tries to stop her, she tells him that it's her choice, not his, and she's going to help in this fight. Harley backs her up too. True dat, son! And with that, Batman's latest plan begins, as the Amazons march on the Hall of Justice, with Hermes demanding that by the decree of Zeus, Superman leave Earth, or suffer the wrath of the Amazon army. Wonder Woman is in shock. What is this? And she walks up to Artemis, demanding to know who ordered this attack. Well, as it turns out, the deal that was struck to wake Wonder Woman from her magical sleep was that Hera was owed a favor, and that favor was to have Wonder Woman's mother march the Amazons on Superman for daring to treat himself as a god. Her mother did refuse, but Hera just imprisoned her. Upon hearing this, Wonder Woman grabs Hermes. "My mother better not be hurt," and then she attempts to order the Amazons to stand down. But as she's told, she holds no dominion over them right now. This leaves Superman and his team wondering how this even got started, and that's when Batman arrives, landing the Batplane. Superman demands to know if Batman has forgotten the last time that they spoke. "No, you are wrong, Clark. It's not over," Batman simply says as he walks over. "And I had nothing to do with this. It was your mother, Diana. But we'll benefit from them being on the right side," he says with a smile. Hermes is growing tired of this, though. "What is your answer, Superman?" Superman looks at Wonder Woman. "Is there anything we can do?" "Yes. I demand that we settle this with judgment by combat. One champion from each side to the death." And Hermes accepts. Superman steps forward. "I will be my own champion. Now choose yours." And Harley Quinn jumps in. "I volunteer! I volunteer as tribute!" Everyone turns to look at her weird. "Harness Everquinn? Anyone?" Luckily, everyone ignores her, and Batman turns back to Superman. "On behalf of the gods, we choose Wonder Woman." She jumps on Batman. "How dare you!" But Hermes throws her off. "I will not allow this." This drives Superman to jump on Hermes, and the battle begins with Harley Quinn shouting, "It's on, District 12!" At that moment, a bolt of lightning hits the ground. "Enough!" And Zeus stands before everyone. "I will not have this divine challenge ignored by my daughter or anyone else." Hal, Flash, and Cyborg all look at each other. "Did you know her dad was?" "Nope." Wonder Woman takes this chance. "How can this be? My mother would never have agreed to this." And Zeus explains that due to her awakening, she must fight in the side of Hera, and if she refuses, her mother will die. So, she apologizes to Clark, and they begin their battle! Wonder Woman comes in with a swing of her sword, and Superman blocks it with his forearm, shattering her sword. He then gets in a right hook, causing her to bleed. She then kicks him, so he punches her in the gut and then across the jaw. And when she comes in for a punch, he headbutts her, busting her nose, inciting the rage of an Amazon! She elbows him in the knee, gouges out his eyes, and breaks his arm. He then looks up at her and bombards her with his heat vision. Wonder Woman holds her shield up and walks into it. "You know this won't stop me, Clark. It'll hurt, but it won't stop me." She then cracks him over the face with her shield, and he lunges at her with the full strength of his abilities, punching her in the jaw. "I will kill you if I have to!" And they both step back, and Wonder Woman asks him to yield. She doesn't want to kill him, and he jumps back in. "Want has nothing to do with it!" They both jump back into it, Wonder Woman getting in multiple shots, and Hal Jordan looking on and realizing this isn't the Superman that he knew. Superman was fearful. He feared for humanity because he was linked to humanity through Lois, and now he isn't. The yellow ring can sense somebody's fear, and he can sense none in Superman. He is now beyond caring about himself or anyone else. Wonder Woman then pummels Clark into the ground and then holds him up by his symbol. It's over. She then winds up prepared to take his life, and she gets blasted by yellow energy! Sinestro has returned, and he isn't about to let Superman lose. Zeus shouts out, "Who dares?" And everyone turns to Sinestro. "Why did you do that?" "Isn't it obvious? The traitor was about to kill Superman, and you were all standing there. Superman hits Sinestro with everything he has, throwing him across the planet. No more from you. Zeus then turns to the army. You know the task that is before you, Hermes. Understood, Allfather. Army of Zeus, attack! Everyone jumps in to continue this fight. The army of Zeus, Superman's regime, Batman's insurgency. But one fight takes precedence over all of this. Damian stands before Bruce. I've waited a long time for this one, Dad. And he tells him, and you won't mind waiting longer. And Batgirl knocks out Damian. Hermes runs at his full speed, laughing at the idea of another speedster. And he drops Flash while Artemis drops Hal Jordan. Then Superman shouts, enough! And he uses his super breath to push everyone down. But it's not really the end, is it? As the gods arrive, Superman, Apollo shouts, you have incurred the wrath of the gods. Surrender or die. And he was surrounded by his fellow gods, Atlas, Eros, Hercules, and Athena. So Cyborg puts a call out to the rest of the Justice League. They're gonna need everyone. Raven hears the call but refuses to come as she's mourning the loss of her father Trigon. Billy is still unconscious in the quiver, with Ares the god of war looking over him. Lex sees the beacon go off but chooses to ignore it so he can continue his work on his Superman clone. So Superman stands there, silent, with no reinforcements. Hermes can see that Superman is defeated, so he gives him 1 day to abdicate his false throne and leave the Hall of Justice. He then orders Artemis to pull back and make camp. Batman can't believe it! They have Superman on the run! Why are they pulling back? We can't give them time to fortify their position. And Hercules corrects him. There is no we, mortal. There is only the will of my father. Tell your caped friends to stand down or I will. So Superman and his regime begin to walk back into the hall, picking up their injured. But Hermes tells Diana to stop and come with him, as she now stands with Zeus. She turns furious. I will not! And she jumps on Hermes, punching him. Diana, stop, Superman shouts, and Hal wonders if they should be joining her. But Hercules comes in and hits Wonder Woman over the head so hard that she bleeds. Damian then asks, we're jumping in now, right? And Superman replies with, leave the big one to me. So Cyborg amplifies the sun's rays to repair Superman's arms, and they begin battling the gods again. Hal Jordan tries to take on Hercules, but Hercules shatters his constructs and knocks him to the ground, where Harley takes a cheap shot and kicks him. Hercules then lifts her off the ground, telling her that this is his fight, and she can go. He then continues to approach Hal, so Hal hits him with a blast of fear. But Hercules ignores it, telling Hal, your fear-mongering days are over. And then he goes in for a punch that could crush a mere mortal. Luckily, Superman catches it, and Wonder Woman jumps in so they both begin battling with Hercules. Hercules is a demigod though, and he uppercuts Superman into space before grabbing Diana by the throat. Batman's team looks on in horror as they realize that this is a massacre. Is this really what they wanted? Meanwhile, in the quiver, Ares approaches Billy Batson and removes the tape over his mouth. It's time. Superman needs you. So Billy shouts, Shazam! And the superhero with the power of the gods prepares to enter the battlefield. And we end on that. Volume 1 closes on that note. And there are much bigger battles to be had in Volume 2. So make sure you subscribe to the channel today to make sure you get that video, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it, because we really do appreciate it. Check out the other videos on the screen right now. You just might like those too, and I'll see you next time right here.